and welcome back to the channel. I want you to take a look at something. This is the German F-86K, battle rating 9.3. It climbs at around 47, probably up to 50 meters per second once it's spaded. Okay, 47 meters per second, keep that in mind. So we're going to Japan. This is the F-86F40 Sabre, also 9.3. Climb rate also in the ballpark of 45 meters per second. France, Super Mystère. Climb rate is 60 meters per second. And America, the F3H Demon, used to be 9.3, now it's 9.7 for God knows why. Climb rate 53, probably up to around 60 meters per second once it's spaded. Now let's take a look at Russia. Ladies and gentlemen, the Su-7B gets an AIRSPAWN. Ah! So yeah, whoever decided the Su-7B belongs at 9.3, I want what they're having. That being said, if you look at the stuff at 9.7, the performance caps get even more ridiculous, so this is hardly a isolated problem. That Vautour really couldn't have done much there. I guess I should probably talk about the plane. As undertiered as it is, the Su-7B is not super easy to fly, and it's for the usual reasons, a combination of the airframe and the weaponry. The Su-7 really only does one thing well. It's fast as hell in a straight line. Its acceleration is actually rather subpar for something that goes as fast as it does, and if you try to turn, you somehow lose speed like a delta wing, but still turn like trash. With the boosters on, you can also just snap your wings off for no apparent reason sometimes. Onto the guns, well, you get a grand total of 10 more rounds per gun than the MiG-19. Geez, the Soviets were really stingy with their ammo, eh? Now, as this gameplay shows well, if you can aim the NR-30s, you don't need more than a couple of hits to reduce your target into a smoldering ruin. But as you might have noticed in the intro, my performance with these guns is nowhere near this consistent usually. Also, this gameplay is definitely the most cherry-picked thing ever. You never usually see this many 9.0 jet bombers flying around just waiting for you to pluck them out of the sky, and because of how sluggish the Su-7 is at maneuvering, you're pretty much stuck doing head-ons and strictly boom and zoom tactics against planes that are much, much more nimble than you. Kinda feels like trying to kill mosquitoes with a slip. You also do get up-tiered up to at least 9.7 most games with this thing, and there are a lot of planes at 9.7 and above that can give you grief. Really, anything with missiles better than AIM-9Es is gonna give you problems, because, once again, this thing is really bad at turning. You can't really win maneuvering fights either, not even against Harriers. Yeah, you heard me. Harriers can outturn this thing. And you can't even pull flaps, because all the Su-7 has are landing flaps that'll just rip clean off. Now, you can force an overshoot because of how fast this thing loses speed if you turn really hard, but that usually ends up getting you killed because your acceleration isn't fast enough to get you back out of the situation before somebody else jumps you. Really, your only advantage in this plane is your speed. There's really not much else to say about this plane, at least in terms of how to fly it. Stay fast, hit and run, and keep an eye on your 6 in case someone throws a missile at you. I spend the rest of this particular game chasing that pesky F-104 around the map, so I'll spare you the boredom and cut to the fun. Now I know what you're thinking. What about the S-24s? Now for the uninitiated, the S-24s, or Tiny Ivans as some people like to call them, are huge dumbfire rockets carried by the IL-28SH, Su-7s, and the MiG-21s. Why are they important? Well, the Su-7 can't carry missiles, but you can set a detonation distance on the S-24s. I think the footage explains it best, so I'll just roll it, shall I?
field.
We need to put more pressure on the enemy. They're winning.